You think a gate is just metal and hinges right. I thought so too, until the day the HOA president slammed her SUV into mine and screamed that I was destroying community standards. The fines came next $400 a day for a property that wasn't even inside her HOA. That's when I realized this wasn't about rules. It was about control. My name's Donovan Pierce. I bought 5 acres of ranch land just outside Meadowbrook Estates, a place run by the most obsessive HOA in the county. I did everything right, county survey certified boundary, no encumbrances. I'd had enough of people telling me what color my mailbox could be. So, when I planted that sign, private property, no HOA jurisdiction, I felt free for the first time in years. That lasted about 12 minutes. A Mercedes screeched up gravel flying and outstepped Marlene Grayson, hair-perfect heels sharp enough to kill snakes' eyes like cold glass. That sign violates community standards, she snapped. Section 4.2 of the Covenants. I wiped sweat from my neck and kept my voice calm. Ma'am, this land isn't part of Meadowbrook HOA. You can check the county map. She snatched it from my hand, studied it, and smiled like a wolf. Maps can be outdated. You'll hear from my attorney. Then she left tire tracks on my wildflowers. I took pictures. Always take pictures. The next morning, my inbox lit up violation notice, immediate compliance required. 7 so-called offenses. Fence, too tall. Gate, too industrial sign, unauthorized failure to pay HOA dues. HOA dues. For land outside the HOA. She was either insane or drunk on power, and probably both. I forwarded it to my lawyer, then sent Marlene a polite reply with attachments from the county. Peer official records, this property lies outside your jurisdiction. Her response wasn't written, it was public. That afternoon, my buddy texted me screenshots from a Facebook group. Meadowbrook Community Watch. Marlene's post was front and center. New resident refuses to follow standards. Aggressive signage. Threat to property values. Thousands of members. Hundreds of comments. Sue him. Run him out. Build a fence to block his view. My stomach dropped. It wasn't just harassment, it was character assassination. And it worked. People I'd never met honked and flipped me off as they passed. One woman even threw her coffee cup at my mailbox. That night I stared at my laptop and asked myself if I'd made a mistake. Maybe I should have just moved further away, found land no one cared about. I almost started drafting a compliance letter just to stop the noise. But then I scrolled back through my footage. 12 minutes of Marlene grabbing my gate screaming about property values. Her nails scraping steel like claws. And something inside me clicked. No, I wasn't going to roll over. Not this time. I'd been bullied by paperwork before, but I spoke that language better than she did. I created a spreadsheet, every incident logged, time-stamped, linked to photos and video. Confrontation at 9:47 a.m. Violation email at 6:32 a.m. Social media defamation 4:15 p.m. 1 row for every move she made. I didn't fight with anger, I fought with documentation. 3 days later, she escalated again. I was mid-client call when the gate intercom buzzed. 3 people stood there, Marlene and 2 men in polo shirts. She spoke like a judge announcing a sentence. We're here to inspect your property for violations. Open this gate. No, I said, this is private land. She slammed her hands on the bars, shaking them. You can't just ignore the community. The steel held firm. The camera blinked red, recording every second. I told her calmly, you have 10 seconds to step back before I call the sheriff. I did call. Deputy Hollis arrived young but sharp. I handed him my laminated county survey and property deed. He read, nodded, and turned to Marlene. Ma'am, this property is outside your HOA boundary. You're trespassing. Please leave. Her face went crimson. I pay taxes. I vote. I have rights. Not here you don't, he said. She left in a storm of gravel and ego. Hollis turned to me. Document everything, sir. People like that, they always push too far. He was right. That night I found a thick envelope from her husband, an attorney. Cease and desist. 3 pages of legal fluff demanding I remove my gate or face a $50,000 lawsuit for community disruption. I read it twice, then laughed. It cited HOA authority but never once proved jurisdiction. Bluff through and through. I called my lawyer. She's bluffing. He agreed. You want to hit back? Not yet, I said. Let her bury herself first. 2 mornings later, the county zoning officer called. Mr. Pierce, we denied her request to expand HOA boundaries last year. She was explicitly warned that enforcement beyond current limits would be harassment. You'll receive a certified letter confirming that today. I almost smiled. The next card was mine to play. That evening, the gate camera caught something new. A vehicle pulling up. Marlene's SUV. She got out holding something long. 3 swings, and my mailbox exploded into splinters. She drove off without even looking back. I didn't get angry. I didn't step outside. I called the sheriff. When the deputy arrived, I handed him the footage, 4K crystal-clear license plate and face. He whistled low. That's her, all right. We'll handle it. By sunrise, I was giving a formal statement to Sheriff Briggs himself. Veteran cop, steady voice. He'd seen it all. I showed him my logs, my photos, my videos, 6 weeks of meticulous evidence. He shook his head. This isn't a boundary dispute anymore. This is criminal harassment. And he was right. The county launched an investigation. Turns out Marlene had been fined or harassing homeowners for years, fake violations, misuse of HOA funds, intimidation tactics. One neighbor even came forward with a binder full of bogus fines over a tree planted in 1978. She'd made him cut it down. When I read that binder, I stopped feeling angry. I felt sad for every person who'd folded just to get peace. That's when I decided I wouldn't just defend myself, I'd expose her. A week later, I got an email. Emergency HOA meeting. Legal action against Donovan Pierce. I went. Walked into the community center wearing a body cam and carrying a flash drive. Marlene stood at the front, clicking through slides of my ranch, calling me a public nuisance. I waited until she was mid-rant, then raised my hand. Mind if I show something? The projector switched and my footage rolled, Marlene shaking my gate, screaming at me, smashing my mailbox. The room went dead silent. Then, a voice in the crowd. She fined me $3,000 for my oak tree. Another, she called code enforcement on my garage 6 times. The tension broke into chaos, residents shouting, board members turning red. One man stood. I motioned for a vote of no confidence. Seconded. 8 hands went up. Marlene's face collapsed. She grabbed her purse and stormed out. That was it. 15 years of tyranny ended in 30 seconds of silence. The next morning, I got a call from Sheriff Briggs. We filed 3 charges: vandalism, harassment, and misuse of HOA authority. The DA wants your testimony. I agreed. Not out of revenge, but because bullies rely on silence, and I wasn't going to be silent anymore. When the county report was released, it confirmed everything. $47,000 in bogus fines, $12,000 in misused funds. 23 families victimized. Marlene was removed from all positions and sentenced to probation and community service. I didn't attend the hearing. I didn't need to. Justice had already been served the night the HOA turned against her. The last time I saw Marlene was months later at a grocery store. She looked smaller, quieter, like the air had gone out of her. She said softly, "I'm sorry for all of it. I just wanted control. I went too far." I looked at her for a long second. "Boundaries aren't walls," I said. "They're just respect." She nodded and walked away. Now, every morning, I stand by my gate, the same one she tried to break, and watch the sunrise over land that's finally completely mine. No fines, no notices, no fear, just peace. The kind you earn by refusing to back down. Because here's what I learned. Power without legitimacy is just noise, and truth, when documented, always wins.